September 16, 2025. Utah Valley University. A date that would be burned into America's memory. On the surface, it was an ordinary autumn evening. Students rushed across campus, their backpacks slung over shoulders, buzzing about midterms and weekend plans. But inside the main auditorium, a very different atmosphere was building. Chairs lined in rows, cameras set up, and a crowd eager to hear a man who had become one of the most polarizing figures in modern American politics. That man was Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, had spent years building a reputation as a young conservative firebrand. To his supporters, he was a defender of free speech, tradition, and faith. To his critics, he was a dangerous provocateur, fueling division, spreading misinformation, and stoking the flames of culture wars. Wherever Kirk went, controversy followed. He thrived on it. Universities had become his battlegrounds, campuses his arenas. That night in Orem, Utah, was supposed to be just another speech on his tour. Security at Utah Valley University was tighter than usual. Attendees passed through metal detectors, their bags checked. Campus police coordinated with local law enforcement. For most, it felt like routine precautions. But no amount of preparation could stop what was about to unfold. Among the hundreds of students and guests filing in, one man stood out, not because of his appearance, but because of his intent. Calm, silent, focused. He had been planning this night for weeks. This wasn't about free speech. This wasn't about debate. This was about ending a life. The shooter, whose name would soon dominate headlines worldwide, had slipped past security. Investigators would later say his weapon was hidden inside a specially altered laptop case. Clever, simple, effective. He took his seat quietly, blending in with the crowd. On the outside, he looked like any other student. On the inside, he was seconds away from committing one of the most shocking political assassinations in recent American history. At exactly 7 p.m., the host introduced Kirk. Applause erupted as he walked onto the stage, smiling, adjusting the microphone. The energy in the room was electric. Phones came up, students cheering, waiting for the first words. But hidden in the shadows of the auditorium, the shooter's hand tightened around cold steel. The countdown had begun. In less than 15 minutes, shots would ring out. In less than 15 minutes, the crowd would be screaming in terror. In less than 15 minutes, Charlie Kirk would fall. The storm was coming, and no one saw it. To understand the events of September 16, 2025, we must first understand the man who pulled the trigger. The shooter was not a stranger to anger. He was not a stranger to obsession. But to most of the world, he was invisible, just another face in a crowd, just another name on social media. He was born in the late 1990s, in a small Midwestern town. His childhood, by most accounts, was ordinary. Teachers remembered him as quiet, sometimes withdrawn. Friends described him as awkward, a little off, but never violent. But beneath that quiet surface, frustration simmered. His parents divorced when he was young, leaving him isolated. He spent more and more time online, disappearing into chat rooms, gaming forums, and eventually, extremist communities. The internet became his refuge. It also became his poison. Over the years, his screen was filled with conspiracy theories, radical ideologies, and a steady diet of outrage. He devoured videos that painted the world in black and white, heroes and villains, patriots and traitors. And in that world, Charlie Kirk became his symbol of hate. Investigators would later uncover a digital trail stretching back years. Posts on fringe forums. Comments on political live streams. Even encrypted chat groups where he spoke openly about targeting public figures. He wasn't subtle. His username popped up again and again with chilling phrases. If they won't listen, make them. One bullet can change everything. Public enemies deserve public justice. Yet somehow, no one acted. The breaking point. In early 2025, the shooter's life spiraled. He lost his job after clashing with coworkers. His girlfriend left, citing his obsession with politics and paranoia. Family members distanced themselves, too frightened of his outbursts. The rejection pushed him deeper into isolation, and deeper into the belief that he had a mission. A purpose. That purpose had a name, Charlie Kirk. He began tracking Kirk's public schedule, noting each campus visit, each speech. Online searches revealed detailed research, maps of universities, layouts of auditoriums, even security loopholes. The planning was meticulous. The rage was personal. And then came Utah. The night he believed he would finally make history. Looking back, the warning signs seem obvious. A troubled man with violent posts. A digital footprint filled with threats. Yet no one reported him. No one flagged him to law enforcement. Why? Some say it was because he used anonymous accounts. Others argue authorities are overwhelmed, thousands of threats are made online every day, too many to track. But for the families who would later grieve, the question remained, could this tragedy have been prevented? On September 16, 2025, he arrived at Utah Valley University with one goal. Hidden in his bag was the weapon that would forever change the course of the evening. As he walked through security, no alarm went off. No suspicion was raised. He was just another guest, taking his seat among hundreds. But behind his calm expression was a storm of rage. And in less than an hour, that storm would explode. 7:14 p.m. The applause had barely settled when the first shot echoed through the auditorium. Students froze. Some thought it was a firecracker. But when the second and third shot rang out, panic erupted. Charlie Kirk staggered back, his microphone dropping. Gasps turned into screams as the audience scrambled for the exits. Phones fell, chairs tipped, the air filled with chaos. On stage, Kirk collapsed. Security rushed forward. Blood stained the podium. Though the shooter was captured on-site, investigators feared a larger plot. Bomb squad swept the building. FBI agents rushed to Utah overnight, searching the suspect's home, car, and digital records. Laptops, hard drives, and phones revealed chilling evidence, detailed plans, manifestos, even practice videos where he rehearsed what he would do. But one question haunted investigators: was he acting alone? Inside FBI headquarters, agents pieced together the shooter's life. His posts online showed months of threats. His bank statements revealed recent purchases of weapons and ammunition. His encrypted chats hinted at possible accomplices, though no second shooter was ever found. They discovered he had traveled to Kirk's earlier events but never acted, until Utah. The FBI called it a lone wolf attack with clear ideological motives. But to Kirk's supporters, that explanation wasn't enough. They wanted justice. Courtrooms overflowed with reporters, protesters, and grieving families. The shooter showed no remorse. He sat expressionless as prosecutors described how he smuggled the gun in, how he studied Kirk's movements, how he believed one act of violence could silence a movement. The defense tried to argue mental illness. But the jury saw the evidence: meticulous planning, step-by-step notes, a manifesto calling the assassination a mission. After just 2 hours of deliberation, the verdict was clear: guilty on all counts. The shooter was sentenced to life in prison without parole. But the trial didn't bring closure. Instead, it sparked a national firestorm. Supporters of Kirk mourned, turning him into a martyr for free speech. Opponents worried the assassination would be used to fuel division, crackdowns, and political unrest. Universities across the country doubled security. Politicians argued over whether the attack was terrorism, extremism, or simply madness. And for ordinary Americans, the fear lingered: if this could happen on a college campus, could it happen anywhere? The assassination of Charlie Kirk was not just about one man. It was about the growing climate of anger in America. A nation where politics feels like war. A nation where words can spark bullets. Experts warned this may be just the beginning, that unless the country confronts its divisions, more violence could follow. History remembers moments like this not only for the loss, but for the questions they leave behind. Could it have been prevented? Did we ignore the warning signs? And most haunting of all, who might be next? On September 16, 2025, a man walked into a university auditorium with a gun. By 7:15 p.m., a life was ended, a nation was shaken, and history had been rewritten. The name Charlie Kirk will forever carry controversy. But the night of his assassination will forever carry a warning. That the line between politics and violence is thinner than we think, and more fragile than we fear.